This is the 6th annual bike bus car race from Coralville to Iowa City. It's the kickoff event for Bike to Work Week. This year we had 3 participants: Rod Sullivan from the Johnson County Board of Supervisors, we had Roseanne Hobson, a counselor from University Heights, and Jerry Keel, who's a city councilor from North Liberty, participating.
For today's event, we don't really have a strategy. It's more of a demonstration to demonstrate that cyclists are viable transportation alternatives, and there are many advantages to riding a bike, health and environmental and so forth. But the purpose of today's ride is to demonstrate that you can actually make good time, that just riding along and with the trails and city layout and other obstacles that are present for cars and buses, bus schedules and parking, that just riding your bike is a viable and timely means to get to where you want to go.
I'm going to be riding the bus, and I have long been a proponent of public transit, particularly to get transit established on a regular basis in North Liberty. It's a cost-effective, fuel-efficient way to move people, and it's an effective way for elderly and disabled persons, an elderly person such as myself, to get from place to place, and less frustrating. I'm a frequent rider of the buses as much as I can be.
Well, even though I'm driving a Prius, which is about the most economical way to get around town, there's no way I can compete with the people on the bus or the bike, so I know that up front. Cost-wise, this is going to cost me more. I think the biggest obstacle probably for the person driving the car is the parking. I may get to the area just a little bit quicker than the others, but once I get there, it's going to be a challenge to find a spot. And I'm going to have to pay for that spot, and neither one of them has to do that.
A few minutes before the bus is supposed to arrive, they all go to their respective modes of transportation, and then reconvene downtown at the Iowa City Public Library. The bicycle won this year. That is not always the case, but typically the bike is more competitive or faster than the others.
We were able to pull out a win for the cyclists, and happy to play a part. Weather was great today, and our competitors did the best they could, I think. Biking in general around here is good. It's a great place to, if you're a lot of incentive to ride to work and to get out on your bike and use it not just for recreation, but to get around and do your errands.
And I think cars are getting used to bicyclists. We had no problems. People are very respectful of bicyclists in this town, which we appreciate.
I was second behind the bike, ahead of the bus. I parked in the nearest ramp, and even then I was able, because the students are gone, I was able to pull right in and immediately into a spot, which isn't usually the case. Well, I just kept thinking about the expense, because even though I was second, I'm sure I spent the most in terms of the investment in the car, the gas, and paying for parking. It was definitely the more expensive route.
I placed last, and that's probably because I had to walk probably 3 or 4 blocks, and I'm not the youngest person anymore. Certainly the tandem bike has its advantages, and certainly the car has its advantages. But the bus is a fine mode of transportation for those of us who are senior citizens. The ride was very relaxing. It was cool. I was able to read a couple things, a couple articles, and just enjoyed the ride immensely.
This always sounds a little schmaltzy, but secondary who wins. I mean, the point is to get the information out there that there are different modes of transportation other than just driving, and that they all have advantages and disadvantages.
It's a good demonstration that there's different ways to commute, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. And and it gives people options.
You know, biking is a great form of exercise. It's a great way to relieve stress. It's riding your bike to work or to the store or to run errands can become addictive. I mean, it's a fun way to get around town, especially for short trips.
But I think the cyclist would normally win. You know, it takes into account the waiting for the bus and fishing your car out of the parking lot and then parking it in the ramp and then walking to your final destination. There's lots of incentives to ride your bike, and I think one of them that we're hoping to dispel is that it takes extra time to ride your bike. I don't think it takes extra time, and just getting on and riding, you can make just as good a time in a car or on a bus, which I think was the point.